Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Ain't That Right? I'm my host, Dunk Dad. We're back. We're back stateside. We are not back in the USSR. Shout out to the Beatles, right? No, we are back in the States, back from our worldwide tour, taking all the beautiful sights that is, or was, Spain, Malaga, Seville, Tenerife, however they say it with a little accent there. We just call it the Canary Islands. It was a good time had by all. Met some wonderful, wonderful individuals along the way. The food obviously was chef kiss, especially in the little tapas bars. You can't go wrong with that. But today we have a very important show and a very important day, right? The most important day of your life. It's election day. We're not going to talk about politics, not all the way. And before we get into that, also shout out to the Indianapolis Colts. Like it literally just broke, just got the news from Miss Alon, just got it via our other insider source down there in Tampa. The Jets, New York Jets have traded away Sauce Gardner to the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, listen, the Jets are just going to keep on being the Jets, but he's like your premier defensive player, young talent. I know Williams up front there for a minute, but are you serious? I mean, you keep handcuffing Aaron Glenn like over and over. Like, give the guy something to work with. I'm sure when he came there, he was like, all right, at least I got Sauce on the other side. Yeah, he's got some things going on, but defensive prowess and talent and lockdown guy. I mean, if that was the case, I mean, this says right there that, Joe Douglas is no longer over there in the Meadowlands because Howie would have blown up his phone. Send us sauce. No shade to Jair and Milton, but goodness gracious. I'd like to plug and play Sauce Gardner next to Q and Cooper. Anyway, as we digress. So today is election day. Yay, it's election day, right? Get out there, your vote counts. And it does count, it does matter, right? It's your voice. And what I wanted to do is I was going to try to tie all of all this kind of together with a neat little bow when it comes to our life, sports, everything in between. Shout out to the old days, nofilter.net, Foreign Perspective. Shout out to Bernsey. Shout out to Joe Manuel. Shout out to everybody else on the network. Um, but why does election day matter and how does it relate to us? How does it relate to us, right? Because every single day we make choices, right? But there are some hallmark moments, hallmark elections in our own life, what we choose to do, what we choose to pursue, what our career is, what avenue we go down, who we align ourselves with. And we sometimes take these things not for granted, but we take them as fact and we get worried about changing, adjusting, moving, trading, right? So, election day in general, right? Let's get this out of the way. It's the whole idea of like popular sovereignty. Ooh, big words, popular sovereignty day, Duncan. Oh my God. Right. But basically, it means that like we're giving the authority to this government or to this elected board or to this person, place, or thing to sort of guide us, right? We're giving our consent. Local elections obviously are super important. Federal elections, super important. But when it breaks down into the nitty gritty of it, it's like your civic engagement and your civic accountability. You know, people like to B and C a lot of times, but if you're not taking the proper channels to voice your opinion or make yourself or your convictions known, you really don't have a leg to stand on, right? That's like the chirpy, squeaky wheel over there in the corner. It was like, dude, we gave you oil, we put grease on the wheel. Now Do something with it. But run, 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 and talk and talk and talk. And we can talk about people interfering. We can talk about people influencing. That's not here and there. The crux of the matter is you have the opportunity, you have the choice, you have the privilege to cast a vote, right? So, no matter what side of the aisle you fall on or whatever, take advantage of this opportunity because there's a lot of places in the world where you don't get that. Taking that a step further, election day, how we choose friends, how we choose relationships, it reveals a lot about our values, our accountability, our intentionality, right? We think about casting a vote. We're making a conscious choice to go out and invest in someone, right? I'm gonna hitch my wagon to that horse, right? I'm gonna put myself in the same boat as this individual. Why? Because they've given me this great big campaign promise, right? They've told me this is how they present themselves very early on. You come to a new school, you come to a new job, you come into uh, an acquaintance, and there's all of these, sparks and fireworks and commonalities, and I'm on the same page, and I like to work this way, and I see things this stuff that, and you're like, oh, this is really cool. Like I can get on board with this person. They're gonna have my back. They're gonna be there. And then you start to dig in a little bit more, right? Because now I'm starting to feel like, okay, I'm gonna give a little bit of myself in this. I'm gonna actually make an investment, right? I'm not ready to pull the lever yet, but I'm almost there. So what do we do as individuals? Well, show me how that organization's been run. Show me how this team operates. Tell me about yourself. Right? What's your track record? What's your background? What's this consistent behavior that I've observed now over a decent amount of time? That kind of gives me a little bit of, a little bit of security, a little bit of security in my vote. I'll invest in that, but could be really volatile. I'm not sure. Yeah, she's a good time. He's a good time, but there's a lot of red flags. Can we get past that? I'm 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 almost there. Convince me. So you see how this behavior, you see how this track record goes. You see how the points of accountability add up over time. All right, looks all right. Now it's like, how do you get past some of the little holes, right? I don't agree 100%, but 80% of what they're saying and what they're doing, and how she acts and how he acts and how the business is run, like I kind of like it. So you start to get these little riders, these little initiatives, right? Shared values. Maybe we can share in this decision. We'll game plan together. We can, run it by me. Then we might table the idea. We might run it past the board, but I want to give you a sense of being involved, right? So it's not just about me now. Now it's about you too. So they're starting to make a little investment in you. That comes up when people are present or when they're not present. Are they emotionally available? They're not emotionally available. Are they consistent with what they said? Hey, man, I'll be there. Reach out anytime. Talk. Oh, I always got your back. Right? We've talked about this ad nauseum. Gosh, 2, 3 months ago, something happens in someone's lives, and oh, yeah, I'll be there for you. Don't worry about it. There's a big turnout. Then all of a sudden, 2, 3 months later, where'd everybody go? Oh, well, they got your vote. They're on board with you. But the consistency that you thought that you were investing in and buying into, where's that? Mr. Smith goes to Washington. I guess he forgot about me now. Little Janie and Joey are working over here now and they got promoted. Then I guess they forgot about me now. So and so got out of this, neighborhood or whatever. I guess they forgot about me now. What's up with that? I bought into this. You were supposed to buy back into me. You made a promise. We got standing on the same platform, sharing the same values. What's up? I'm open. You're open. We're talking. Things are moving forward. Sharing ideas. So where does it leave us? Right? It leaves us in this conundrum of how much we invest, how much we want to give in. And do you put yourself in a position where a lot of us find the term limit, I guess you could say, or the election cycle, the re-election cycle, the re-campaign? Do you want to continue to go forward, or have you put yourself in a spot where you are more or less like pigeonholed into that decision? Because that happens for a lot of us. A lot of us find ourselves in positions where we make these decisions, certain businesses, organizations, relationships, people and friends that we're choosing to be close to or being close to them. And we get so far caught up in the day to day and what's going on and this bigger agenda that, and we've all done it. Like everyone's been like, well, they take care of that and they handle that. So I guess it's okay. Let's run it back one more time. Well, maybe we'll just get a new car and that'll change things. Oh, maybe we'll just change the work schedule and that'll help things. Maybe we'll do a little more of this and a little less of that and that'll be okay. No, but what you're really looking at though is this track record, this accountability, the the arc from where everything was really awesome and charismatic and all the values seem to be in line to now there's this real life accountability. Is it healthy? Are all the parties growing together? Is this person, this place, this thing, this relationship, this inner circle a real reflection of like where you are, where you want to be, and where you're going? And you've got that choice, right? Ipso facto election. Does it get difficult sometimes when we add on responsibilities? Yes. Does it get difficult sometimes when there's other strains? Of course, emotional strains, financial strains. There's tragedy that strikes, there's birth, there's death, there's all these things that come up. That's why we go back to our part of practice and principles, and we know, okay, this is how I'm going to handle it. Why is it important that I'm aligned with this person and not that person? Why am I giving time to this relationship and not that relationship? Why am I investing? What is being given back to me? And when we get so far down this rabbit hole, down this road, there comes a point where ignoring the good things and ignoring the bad things, they kind of run hand in hand, right? Because we'll ignore red flags because we're selfish. We'll take on all the green flags and all the good things because maybe we don't want to deal with something. Well, that's really counterintuitive, but it's not. It's like we'd rather let someone else handle something for us if we get back maybe a little bit over here that what we need, right? Elections have a cycle. Relationships, in some ways, have a cycle. You should be going, moving, and growing forward, right? Is the relationship benefiting? Are we having periodic reflection? Are we going back over what's happening? Are we looking at our campaign plan, seeing what was actually done, and making adjustments? Or are we just saying, hey, guess what? Run with the ball and you got it. And a lot of people sometimes, guess what? They like that. They like handing over that vote. They like handing over that power, that control, and just saying, "Look, I don't want to deal with it. I feel like I'm in a good spot," and they're very content. And look, I'm not here to tell you that's right, wrong, or indifferent, but there's going to be a moment where you are going to have to make somewhat of a decision to either re-up, re-elect, or pick a new candidate. And this isn't saying you're trashing your relationships and trashing where you work and whatever. It's saying that your values, your mission, your goal, your vibes, your whatever it is, are evolving for yourself based on where you find yourself. And you can't overlook particular patterns. Why? Because then they become detrimental to you, right? Then you're not the best version of yourself. This doesn't mean you can't have healthy interactions, healthy relationships. We want to find those outlets. We want to find those individuals who we are completely in line with, or at least 95, 90% aligned with, that people are going and growing and moving in a forward direction. Can you have your fun? Sure you can. Can you be over exaggerated some points? Sure. Can you be over conservative? Sure you can. But at some point, the fundamentals and the basics come into play. And if something is good, it's good. If something is bad, it's bad. And what we've done in this election day, election cycle, or this election theory that we're basing this off of is that every time that we elect someone else, some other thing, some other entity to be in our lives, we're handing over a little bit of that growth, a little bit of that power, a little bit of that emotional landscape, so to say, because we're taking away from ourselves. And when we take away and pass that to someone else, it's like you're planting a seed, right? It's like, hey, I'm giving you this, whatever it is, if I figure the metaphor today, and I want it to be nurtured and I want it to be grown and sown, into the soil and all the happy flowers, right? I want to make sure that what I'm doing and what I'm giving is being reciprocated. Hey, I'm available. Call. All right, talk. Let's talk. Not, oh, I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you. Left on red, left on red. And then you get this deluge, right? Hey, I didn't really weed the garden for like a couple weeks, but now everything is weeded out and I saturate and now I've love bombed it. Whoa, okay. So I go from like zero attention, zero interaction, zero projects at work, zero accountability at work to now I'm being held over the fire because what, I didn't get the TPS report or I overlooked, a comma or I didn't return a phone call. I mean, I haven't been doing that for months. That's been like depressing. You haven't cared. Now all of a sudden you care. Well, why? Well, somebody got to their end. Right? Who we choose to spend our time with, who we choose to invest in, it's just like shaping our community, just like shaping everything around us, right? You have individuals who want to start a business, open a business. Is it a good fit? Might be a great fit for them, might not be a great fit for the community, might not be a great fit for where things are at right now. Right? And that's the paradox. The paradox is what works here might not work over there. There was a great little meme, GIF, whatever you want to call it, that came up the other day and completely resonated. And it falls into this election and picking. And it was a little mandarin orange. And they completely peeled it back and it's sitting on the middle of the table. And they took a clove of garlic and they took out one of the little wedges of the mandarin, put in there, and they said, just because you fit doesn't necessarily mean that it's right. And it's like, yeah, that makes sense. Like a lot of times we want to go down avenues with people, places, things, and fit into this particular space and mold. And we want it to work. And they want it to work. But the compatibility, the long term just isn't going to be long term beneficial. Right? It's just not going to be beneficial long term. Is that bad? No, it's not bad. Is it something you need to be mindful of? Yeah, you need to be mindful of it. Does it saying that you can't put them together every now and then? No, but you should be aware of what you're choosing, where you're going, what you're doing, right? What does the person really stand for? What do I stand for? Do I match what I'm saying? Do they match what they're saying? Are we really on the same page? Everybody's on the same page here. We're getting the board meeting. We're gonna sit here and brainstorm. We're gonna have the ideas. We're gonna run out. Blah 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 blah. So you said it's a great meeting. Everything's all jacked up. Everybody had the free catered lunch, and you walk out, and yep, we're gonna hit the ground running. And like two people walk out of that meeting actually doing something. Everyone else just falls right back into line. But they're there for the party. They're there to make sure that people see them. They're there to make sure that, well, I'm the point person on it. And then it gets down to the brass tacks, right? How do we handle accountability between one another, between our organization, with our close personal relationships, accountability with ourselves? We all Every single one of us are very good at justifying the the goods and the bads in our own lives. It's what we do. That keeps a lot of people on track, keeps a lot of people going. It's just when those actions or those emotions or those frivolous decisions, the overspending, the uh, laziness, how do we how do we address that internal conflict, right? How do we address that external conflict? How do the other people in our lives address it? People enabling it for you? Have you elected someone who's not going to hold you accountable? Have you chosen someone in your circle that's just going to, keep riding that, what do they say? Riding the whatever dragon, or heck it was? I mean, like, really? Because we do that, right? We pick individuals. If you look up and down your friend group, you're going to have someone that holds you accountable. You're going to have someone that is completely overly emotionally supportive. You're going to pick someone who is probably a little bit, and then it's going to sound bad, but whatever. Like a little bit, above and or beyond where you find yourself on the totem pole, because we always like to look up to something and we always like to be above something. That's human nature. We like to, be kind of available yet a little special, a little mysterious but open. Like we have all of these little nuances in the people that we elect. And is it providing for you a good source of energy? Is it making you a better person? Is it sustainable? Have you tried to keep up with the Joneses and put yourself way behind the eight ball? We know a lot of individuals in our lives that do that. So, well, I want to be in a certain group. I want to do a certain thing. Kids have to be involved in this. We have to do that. And you're like, whoa, whoa, hold on. Like it's not really what we're going for here, right? And then you get this manic behavior of, things have to be a certain way, people have to be a certain way, and all the time you're just deteriorating internally because it's really not who you are. And if it is who you are, then you're not holding yourself accountable and you're not taking the steps to get there. So, how then, when we get into this election cycle of ourselves and election cycle of people around us, do you tactfully, I guess, you know, like vet someone or vet yourself? Number one, you got to be on the same page, right? You got to be honest, got to be open, you have to be respectful. You have to understand that you're promoting growth, they're promoting growth, they're consistent, and you're consistent, not just with one individual, but they are who they are, right? They are who we thought they were. Shout out to Nate Green. But that's super important because I've always said, Billy Joel the Stranger, right? We all have a mask, blah, 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 blah. But it is true that there's a lot of public persona with individuals, and then there's that private persona. And you'll see that when people have breakthroughs or when people are regarded as, one of one, kids like it. It's because the authenticity of who they are, what they do, what they're about is a consistent line. That's not saying they don't have private moments. It's not saying that they don't have a little more flair publicly, but the thread of that consistency runs through. They really are who they are. They will respect you. They will respect your growth. A lot of stories come out, way after, individuals pass away. And someone who comes to mind is like Paul Newman. And Paul Newman, around holiday times, he's throwing his coat, go down to the soup kitchen, and he would sit there and he'd make bread, he'd make soup, he'd feed people, and you'd never hear anything about it. And it's because he was just as genuine out in public as he was in private. And that's what we're going for. And that's what we're going for from people. You know, Way back in another world, I used to tell someone or tell individuals, we're going to have interaction and you have a job to do, I have a job to do. But what I expect from you and what you can expect from me is that I'm going to be consistent. If you're an a-hole, I can appreciate you being an a-hole. Don't dance all over the place. Live it, love it, own it, want it, and be that way. Then, only then, because that's being honest, we can now have a conversation. Now, we can actually affect some sort of change if that's what needs to happen. So now you have this little bit of a vetting checklist going on. Are the actions, like the authenticity, from your job, from your boss, from your partner, from your friends? Does it match with what they're saying? Is it consistent? People going to have a bad day? Of course, going to have a bad day. I had a bad day. Everyone's got a bad day. But when the more time than not is a bad day, you're not consistent, and it's not matched up. I'm going to show up for the party. Don't worry. I'll be there. I'll pick you up. Oh, you can give me a call anytime you want. Okay, this doesn't mean you abuse the, like, I'll be there every time you want. You can be respectful to the people that you're getting in touch with. But if I'll be there for anything and I decide to call at 11:12, that's a weird time. And you, oh, I'm not there. Oh, I tried to reach out to you. Oh, well, I was busy. I was on something. Oh, I tried to reach out to you. Okay, not consistent. Why? Because I pick up the phone every damn time. I answer the text message. I don't leave you on red. I'll get right back to you. Give me 2 seconds. Touch base, finish something up. Okay, not blowing you off. I see you. Has the job, have they shown up? Has the relationship shown up? Do they got your back? I got your back. You got my back. No, he's a good employee. She's a good employee. They wouldn't do something like that. Oh, they're always on time. Yes, they always go the extra mile. Yes, they're always here when we need them. They're always volunteering. They're always present. Now, you don't want to be taken advantage of in that situation because then you become that relied upon individual who doesn't have a voice. Ipso facto, why you need to speak up and cast your ballot and cast your vote and make sure you reassess. Can you communicate? Here we go. Openly in those relationships, in those arrangements. No judgments, no fear, not being dismissed, not getting shut down, just bearing it all. Here it is. That's who I'm electing. I'm electing someone who knows, like, man, this guy does not like mornings. Just saying. Man, this can't understand, the simplest things when it comes to customer service. That's a trigger. Please make the hoagie, make the sandwich the right way. Okay. You're not going to judge me for it. This is who I am. This is the authenticity. This is the realness. The same way that you might have your quirks. All good. Can you, can they, can everyone in this election of individuals, organizations, people, places, and things, can we all actively listen and then respond appropriately and respond with whatever the appropriate emotion calls for, right? Because you may want to go and tell someone, man, right now I'm in dire straits. I'm having a rough time and, things are kind of piling up and blah, 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 blah. But hey, I just got a scratch off ticket and I won $10,000. They're like, oh my God, it's amazing, blah, blah, blah. But then you follow it with, and, I booked a trip to Bali. And they're like, well, okay, that's good. But you were just complaining, 2 days ago and I lent you $20 for gas and now you going to Bali? Like, I'm happy for you, dude, but Let's talk about that a second. Let's hash that out. Like, that's the appropriate response. Oh, you just want, or it's not because you've selected someone and elected someone who's just like, just be my hype man, be my hype girl, pump me up, man, let's go, right? Pump those numbers up, make me feel good, get that ego going, man. You've chosen these people. You've chosen these people for a reason. You've chosen these people based on where you're at in your own personal life, your own personal development, maturity, emotional, physical, spiritual, mental. Where does accountability come in? If there's a conflict, oh, hey, I just won. What do you have to do? Well, I'm going to challenge you on this now. How do they handle disagreements? How do they handle resolution? Is resolution even a word? Do they avoid it altogether? Because some people are like, whoa, not me, man. That's not my job. You got to go to friend number 2 for that. You got to go friend number 3 for that. Right? You're not asking for the most complete friend person all across the board, but you are asking for consistency. That consistency should have the honesty, the accountability. Are they willing to offer all of those emotions to you? Hey, man, sorry I wasn't there for I effed up. Sorry, I kind of got a little carried away. Right? Do they have their own bit of humility? Do they want it to grow? Right? Because we all have someone in our lives where nothing is their fault. They could never be in the wrong. There's always something that comes up. Not a, yep, it's on me, coach. I own it. My bad. Got myself so busy, so worked up, I completely forgot about what I promised to do over there. That's on me. Now it's on you to take that and run with it and be accepting of it. And you're going to go back to what? Put it in reverse. And back to the track record and be like, well, wait a minute. Now, this has happened how many times now? And this is the same reaction. And there's the same remorse. Well, maybe they have to grow up a little bit more. Maybe they need some more maturity in their life. And it's unfortunate that you are constantly the individual or individuals or organization that's always bouncing that. And then you have to get to that point where you're like, well, maybe they don't get the invite. Maybe they don't get the phone call. Maybe you start to put some space. Maybe you start to reevaluate some other candidates. This is not being a crappy friend. This is being a crappy individual. This means that you've gone through every single channel at your disposal, specifically in like personal relationships and growth. And it's like, hey, look, I figured we could talk. Nothing. Hey, there's a good group over here. Nothing. Hey, ever thought of? Nothing. Right? I'm not trying to coach you. I'm just trying to, as a friend, be there for you. Like, I want you to be better for yourself, so you're better for me, so you're better for us, so we're better together. Nothing goes better like Mentos, right? Friendships, Mentos, da, 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 it's on the song. Uh, are people like in that moment? Are they emotionally available? Are they present? Are they engaged? Or do they dip out when things kind of get rough? Like we all have fair weather friends. Call it out, man. Man, you're around when things are good, but when we ain't going to the club, and we're not going to the tennis court, we're not going to the golf course, we're not going to the concert, we're not going to the movies, we're not going out to dinner, we're not doing a happy hour. Where are you at? But not good enough to come and chill and hang out. I mean, you said you like the same things I like. We talk about the same things. We're all on board. What's up with that? Go up and down your contact list, man. Go up and down. You all know. Everybody knows. I probably got like 15 in mine. Probably say thing about me when it comes to certain things. People at different places, parts, moments in their life. Do they celebrate your growth? Do they celebrate your wins? Or are they like, you kind of have that little, like, looking out like, I see what you're doing. But the hater's going to hate. The closest people sometimes in our lives are the ones who really don't want to see us to succeed because it challenges them. It makes them have to adjust. Do they support you when you lose? Do they support you when things don't work out? Do they support you when an event happens? How much at this point Do you share the same vision? Do you want the same things? Do you want your relationship to go a certain way? Do you want your position in this particular organization to evolve? Is it based in loyalty? Is it based in an adventurous time, whimsical shared vision? Hey, it is what it is. We know what it is. Boom. We're going to ride this project until the wheels fall off, but we'll learn something. Is there stability there? Are you coasting along, just chilling, keeping it in third gear? Or are you actually looking to build something? I respect your ideas. You respect my ideas. Let's put pencil on paper, take that idea and bring it into reality. I say I'm showing up. I'm physically showing up, mentally showing up. Every kind of capacity, I'm present. You're present too. Okay. Are they supportive of you as an individual and give you your space and let you chase the things that are important to you? Do they champion that? Do they respect your time and respect your space? That's big, right? There's a lot of people that they are the most present, supportive, wonderful, caring, loving individuals in the world. But for some reason, they cannot see that too much shared space, too much shared time, not enough individuality, it takes away from the person that you are. Go back to your priority practices principles. Knowing when to step away, knowing when to say no. We had a whole show on that. No is a very good and empowering word when used appropriately. Can it be selfish? Sure, it can. Can you be an a-hole? Sure, you can. Can it be very aggressive? Sure, it can. But when used appropriately, when it's consistent and it turns into an avenue and opportunity for your own personal growth, development, recharge. Yeah, man, I'd like to go do that. Yeah, I'd like to help you out today. And, you know, but you know what? No, I can't. No. Why? Because I got to give myself 15 extra minutes today to just be in my own space. I need the extra hour today to kind of recalibrate what's going on in my world and check in. Hopefully, the person that you're talking to, that you've elected, that you chose to be in your life, is understanding of that. And 9 times out of 10, people, your friends, like, don't worry, man, cool. I got you. Next time we're good. Hit me up when you can. All right, cool. Awesome. Why? Because they respect their time. They respect their independence. They understand that you're chasing your dreams and your goals and your hopes and your aspirations. And it's important that you're present for whatever that is. People, place, things. Now, the part that we all hate to do because, like anything, we're emotional creatures. As you're vetting people, as you're going through, as now you're doing your assessment, it's even hard to say it, right? Is this person, place, thing, job, entity, task, career, goal, dream, is it re-election worthy? Am I giving it another go? If they came in right now, does it get the vote yes or get the vote no? Am I keeping it around? And why am I keeping it around? Is it habit? Or is there genuine shared goal, growth, and connection? That's big, right? That's big. Why? Because at some point, the the high school, collegey, roaring 20s, like, all that fanfare falls away, and you're like, all right, who's on the team? Who here is on board? Who am I going to be on board for? Because there are a lot of people in our lives, I'm sure if I want them down my list again and be like, okay, I'm here, but like not necessarily the same way that I expect them to be there for me. And that's another crazy little bit of this discussion that many times, and we do this a lot in our, I guess I say our close personal family first, and then the intimate little circle. But you will find who you think is important in your life, you may or may not be as important in theirs. Oh my God, he said it. Yeah, it's true. Right? Oh, I've got this best friend. He's my best friend. Blah 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 blah. Okay, that might be true for you, but for them, maybe it's 70-30. Maybe it's 60-40. Why then it's important to have these open and honest conversations and have this not reevaluation, but you're constantly evaluating, you're constantly growing, you're constantly going forward. You shouldn't be in the same place with friends, relationships, jobs, whatever, that you were a year ago, 6 months ago. Right? In some capacity, there should be some sort of evolution, even if the evolution is planning, even if the evolution is gathering resources, even if the evolution is planning, gathering resources, and beginning to put out, the feelers for whatever the next action is going to be. But talking, 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 this will change, this will change, this will change, this will change. And here we are, a bunch of moments, a bunch of ups, a bunch of downs, and you're still in the same place. Hmm. Now, this doesn't mean you can't physically be in the same place. This doesn't mean that you cannot still deal with a lot of those other outside entities, sources, issues, whatnot. But personally, it should be a little bit of an evolution. So let's put a little bow on this so you guys can get out there and cast your vote. Election day, voting, accountability, track records, shared goals, shared values. We apply to our friendships. We apply to our relationships. We assess candidates. We assess individuals. People say you don't assess individuals and you take people for face value. STFU. Seriously. Nobody's going to be like, hey, there's the Jason guy with the chainsaw over there. I'm going to go hang out with him. That seems like fun. Why? Because I accept him for who he is. Like, you're going to, I mean, hey, might be your thing, but seriously. Everybody Murphy button yourselves. We're human. We have thoughts, we have feelings, we have emotions. We have certain levels of tolerance. What's equal for one might not be equal for the other. What you justify, what you compromise with, someone else might not. Different strokes for different folks. The world doesn't move to beat just one drum. It might be good for some, it might be good for none, right? It's different strokes. Talking about Willis, it was a question on one of the trivia things. And Arnold's nemesis is Hooch. Hooch, not Willis. I put Willis because I always thought, a little bit of protagonist kind of thing, but no. Hooch. Hooch is the answer for looking out there for his enemy, I guess. But putting our going back to putting our bow on us, are we sharing values? Do we align in values? Are people consistent? Are they trustworthy? Am I consistent? Am I trustworthy? Am I communicating effectively? Do I understand and try to resolve conflict in a productive, positive manner? Am I open to the criticism? Am I open to empathy? Do I give sympathy? Am I present? Am I supportive? Are they present? Are they supportive for me? How much support do I need? How much presence do I need? How much independence do I need? It encourages us to be reflective, to be in control of our emotional agency, to be in control of our decisions, to be in control of who and what we want to come in and out of and stay within our lives. Who would we, as our talking point, who would we reelect and why? Because every day we're doing that. Every day, we say reelect, but we're reaffirming relationships and people and ourselves every single day. What are the qualities that continue to present themselves that reaffirm for me that I'm going to keep making that investment? And what am I doing for them to consistently reinvest in me? Am I doing things out of habit? Because, hey, man, they're here and they're covering bases and I'll give up this to get that. Or is there an actual bit of genuineness that's there? Oh, I can't wait to pick up the phone because they're gonna have a message from me. Yay! I can't wait to go back to, the social media thread because they're gonna be there. Yay! Or is it, man, I feel like crap today. I wonder if that person would want to hear why. I feel excited today. Is there a healthy respect of boundaries, values? Are we prioritizing them amongst ourselves? Think about these things every single day, re-electing, reaffirming, casting a ballot, making a choice. Hope you all enjoy the remainder of your election day and enjoy your election day every day. We'll be back on Thursday. Be sure to check out Coastal Sports Digital Network, SR1029 The Game. All the great shows, Pete Shepard, K4 Wins, Lloyd Vance. Also, go ahead, tune over to X, Instagram, Odyssey stations. Find us there. Shout out to the Upper Bowl podcast as well. Shout out to everybody in the Philly metro area doing their thing today. And look, you have a choice. Whether it's good, bad, right, wrong, or indifferent, it's your choice. So be healthy, be positive, be the best version of yourself. And I will see you all on Thursday.